What if the struggle you're facing is the setup for your strength? Sometimes God hides you to heal you before He hands you the spotlight. The season you're doubting may be the one that defines your destiny. There's a divine reason for the delay, a sacred purpose behind the stretching. If you've ever felt like God went quiet or the progress stopped making sense, this is your moment to pause, to listen, and to remember. Growth often happens in the places we least expect. Staying quiet after being disrespected isn't a sign of weakness. It's a demonstration of strength. Too often people assume that silence means submission, that if you don't respond with fire, you're somehow letting someone get the best of you, but the truth is reacting in the heat of the moment doesn't make you stronger. It only proves that the other person has control over you. When you allow someone's words or actions to pull you into anger, to make you lash out, you're no longer in control, they are. And the moment you give them that reaction, you give them exactly what they wanted, power over your emotions. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone lose their temper in response to an insult or an act of disrespect? Did they look strong, WR, or did they look out of control? The loudest person in the room isn't always the most powerful. The person who stays composed, who refuses to let emotions dictate their response, is the one who truly holds the absence of words. It's the presence of discipline. People will try to provoke you. Some will test your patience just to see if they can get a reaction out of you. They want to disrupt your peace because they have none of their own. And if they can pull you into their storm, they feel a sense of control. But when you remain silent, when you refuse to engage in the chaos they create, you send a very clear message. You don't have that kind of power over me. This isn't about bottling up emotions or pretending the disrespect doesn't affect you. Of course it does. You're human, you feel it, but the real test is in what you choose to do next. Do you waste energy trying to prove a point to someone who doesn't even deserve your words? Or do you recognize that not every battle is worth fighting? The strongest people understand that silence speaks volumes. It unsettles those who expect a reaction. It forces them to sit with what they've said or done with no way to deflect or justify their behavior. Some will say, but if I don't stand up for myself, people will think I'm weak. No. Reality is when you know your worth, you don't need to prove it to anyone. People who truly understand power don't feel the need to announce it. A lion doesn't have to tell the jungle it's a lion. When you carry yourself with confidence, when you move with purpose, people will recognize it without you ever having to raise your voice. Silence isn't about avoiding confrontation. It's about choosing your response wisely. It's about understanding that your energy is too valuable to waste on people who don't deserve it. Some arguments are just distractions. Some words are just bait. And when you refuse to take that bait, you win without even engaging. The next time someone disrespects you, take a step back, breathe, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Does this person's opinion of me change my value? The answer is no, because someone else's words don't define you. Someone else's negativity doesn't belong to you unless you choose to carry it. Staying quiet after disrespect isn't about letting things slide. It's about making a decision to protect your peace, to maintain your dignity, and to walk away knowing that your silence said more than any words ever could. There's something you have to understand about disrespect. It's a trap. It's designed to pull you into an emotional reaction, to shake you, to get under your skin, and once it does, you've given away something precious, your energy. Every time you engage in an argument that doesn't serve you, every time you go back and forth with someone who doesn't even respect, you're wasting energy that could be used for something greater. And that's exactly what some people want. They don't want to build anything. They don't want to grow. They don't even want to solve a problem. They just want to pull you down to their level. But when you stay quiet after disrespect, you deny them that opportunity. Energy is everything. It determines how you feel, how you think, how you move. And the reality is your energy is limited. You don't have an endless supply of it to give away freely to every person who tries to provoke. You have dreams to chase, goals to accomplish, peace to protect. But when you react to every little slight, every insult, every act of pettiness, you drain yourself, before you know it. You're exhausted, not because of the work you're doing to better yourself, but because you allowed someone else's negativity to steal your focus. Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to thrive on conflict? It's like they feed off it. They create drama, they stir up tension, and then they sit back and watch as others lose control. But when you refuse to play that game, when you choose silence over reaction, you take away their power. You protect yourself from the unnecessary stress that comes with engaging in battles that don't serve you. And make no mistake, there are people who will test you just to see if they can shake you. They'll throw words at you, hoping one of them will stick, hoping one of them will trigger a response. But when you remain calm, when you refuse to engage, they're left with nothing. Silence is a shield. It doesn't mean you didn't notice the disrespect. It doesn't mean you weren't affected by it. But it does mean that you understand your energy is too valuable to waste on the temporary satisfaction of a reaction, because that's all it is. Temporary. A few seconds of telling someone off might feel good in the moment, but what does it really accomplish? Do they suddenly change? Do they suddenly respect you? No, more often than not, it just fuels the fire. It gives them more reason to keep going, more ammunition to use against you. But when you stay quiet, when you let your actions, your success, your peace speak for itself, you take away everything they were hoping to get from you. Show them that their words have no weight in your world, and eventually they stop trying, because people only continue to poke at what reacts, but when they get nothing in return, they're forced to move on. Some people will say, but I need to defend myself. I need to let them know they can't talk to me like that. Listen, self-respect doesn't always mean confrontation. In fact, the highest form of self-respect is knowing what's worth your time and what isn't. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every insult requires a response. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply refuse to give someone the reaction they're looking for. The next time someone disrespects you, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Does this moment deserve my peace? Because if it doesn't, let it go. Protect your mind, protect your spirit, protect your focus. Some fights are simply beneath you. And walking away isn't weakness. People will say a lot of things. They'll throw words at you, try to get under your skin, try to make you question yourself. And in those moments, the temptation is always there to fire back, to prove something, to let them know exactly who they're messing with. But here's the truth. Words are cheap. Talk is easy. Anyone can say anything, but real power, real proof, real impact comes from action. Let them talk. Let them doubt you. Let them assume whatever they want. At the end of the day, what they say doesn't change anything. What changes things is what you do. You don't need to argue with someone about who you are. When your life makes it undeniable, you don't need to waste time proving your worth to people who aren't even qualified to judge it in the first place, because when you focus on your growth, on your progress, on your success, your results will speak for themselves. That's the difference between those who win and those who stay stuck. The ones who waste their energy arguing, defending themselves, proving themselves to people who don't matter, they stay distracted. They stay caught up in the back and forth, in the negativity, in the drama. Meanwhile, the ones who stay quiet, who keep their head down and keep moving forward, they go places, they ride above the noise. And by the time the doubters realize it, they're already too far ahead to be reached. Silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. Some people will try to bait you into battles that don't deserve your presence. They'll provoke you, hoping to pull you into their chaos, hoping you'll lower yourself to their level. But when you choose not to engage, when you stay focused on your own lane, you don't just win the argument, you eliminate it altogether, because success drowns out noise when you're too busy building, too busy growing, too busy leveling up. You don't have time for petty disputes. Think about the greats, the ones who truly left their mark. They didn't waste time responding to every critic, every hater, every doubter. They let their work do the talking. They let their results be the response. And that's exactly what you have to do. Don't get caught up trying to convince small minds of your greatness. Just be great. Just keep moving forward. Just let your consistency, your discipline, and your success be your reply. People will notice, they always do at first. They'll try to bring you down. They'll say you're not capable, that you're wasting your time, that you don't have what it takes. But once they see that nothing shakes you, that nothing stops you, that you don't even acknowledge their negativity, something happens. They fall silent, because nothing confuses people more than someone who refuses to be affected by them. Nothing humbles people more than realizing their words had no power over you. And when the results start showing, when they see the success, when they see the progress, suddenly the same people who disrespected you will have no choice but to acknowledge you. That's the power of silence backed by action. That's why staying quiet after disrespect isn't about letting things slide. It's about channeling your energy where it actually matters. Let them waste their breath while you build. Let them talk while you rise, because in the end, it won't be your words that prove them wrong. It'll be your success. Disrespect has a way of making things feel personal. Someone says something cruel, dismisses you, looks down on you, and immediately that sting hits. The natural reaction is to take offense, to want to correct them, to want to make them see you differently. But here's what you need to understand. Disrespect is never really about you. It's a reflection of them. It's a window into who they are, not a statement about who you are. People treat others based on what's inside them. A person filled with bitterness will spread bitterness. A person carrying insecurity will try to make others feel small. A person drowning in their own misery will do everything they can to pull others into it. That has nothing to do with you. If you take their words or actions personally, you take ownership of something that was never yours to carry. You let their brokenness become your burden. And the moment you do that, you give them power they don't deserve. That's why silence is so powerful. It says, I see what you're doing, but I refuse to participate in. It says, your words may be loud, but they don't hold weight in my life. People who go around disrespecting others aren't looking for truth. They're looking for control. They want to get a reaction. They want to feel superior. They want to believe they have the ability to shake you. But when you stay quiet, when you don't give them what they're looking for, they're left with nothing but their own reflection, and that's what they're really running from themselves. They project their own pain onto others because they don't want to face it. They insult because they don't want to be seen. They attack because they don't want to be exposed. That's why arguing with them, trying to explain yourself, trying to demand respect is a waste of time. You can't make someone see what they refuse to acknowledge. You can't force someone to give what they don't have within themselves. The best thing you can do is walk away, not out of defeat, but out of wisdom. Because engaging in pointless battles only drains you. Weren't put here to spend your life convincing people of your worth. You weren't meant to go back and forth with small-minded individuals who don't even respect themselves enough to treat others with dignity. You have bigger things to focus on, bigger goals to accomplish, a bigger purpose to fulfill. Some people will never respect you no matter what you do. And that's fine. Their respect isn't necessary for you to succeed. Their validation isn't required for you to grow. What they think of you does not define you. What defines you is how you carry yourself, how you move forward, how you refuse to let their negativity take root in your spirit. So the next time someone disrespects you, remember this: it's not about you. It never was. It's about them, their own struggles, their own emptiness, and you don't have to accept their baggage as your own. Stay quiet. Keep your peace. Let them deal with the weight of their own words, because in the end, disrespect speaks louder about the one who gives it. There's a moment that happens right after you've been disrespected, a split second where your emotions rise, your pride flares is up, and everything in you wants to react. That moment feels like a crossroads. One path leading to an immediate response, the other leading to silence. Most people take the first path. They think that by reacting, by saying something sharp, by firing back, they're defending themselves. But the truth is, when you react emotionally, you're not proving your strength. You're handing over your control. Dignity isn't found in how loud you can get or how well you can argue. It's found in knowing when to walk away. It's found in refusing to be dragged into something beneath you. People will try to pull you into their negativity. They'll push your buttons, test your patience, and try to make you step out of character. And the second you do, you've already lost, because now you're no longer operating from a place of wisdom. You're playing their game. That's why. Silence is dignity, it's restraint, it's power, it's the ability to look at someone who's trying to provoke you and say, without a single word, you don't have that kind of control over me. And that's something most people don't understand. They think silence means weakness. They think if you don't respond, it's because you're afraid. But real confidence doesn't need to be announced. A lion doesn't need to roar to prove it's a lion. The loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest, the one who always has something to say, who always feels the need to prove themselves, who always has to have the last word deep down. That's not confidence, that's insecurity. True strength is measured in how well you can hold yourself together when others are trying to tear you down. It's in how well you can walk away from a situation, not because you couldn't respond, but because you knew responding wasn't worth it. Some people will insult you just to see if they can get you to step out of character. They'll test your patience, throw words at you, hoping one of them sticks. And when you respond, when you react, they win. But when you refuse to give them what they want, when you hold your peace, when you refuse to match their energy, you take all the power back. They have nothing left to feed on, nothing left to hold over you. And the best part, when you walk away with your dignity intact, when you don't let them break you down, you stay in control of your own story. You're not defined by a moment of weakness. You're not remembered for losing your temper or saying something you regret. You're remembered for your composure, for your discipline, for the fact that you knew who you were enough not to let someone else dictate your actions. So the next time you're disrespected, don't think of silence as backing down. Think of it as rising above. Think of it as standing so firm in your confidence that you don't need to entertain small battles. Think of it as walking away with your dignity, knowing that no matter what they said, you never lowered yourself to their level, because in the end, that's the real victory. There's a certain power in patience and letting time do what words never could. When someone disrespects you, the first instinct is always to react, to set the record straight, to demand an apology, to make them see their mistake. But here's the truth. Most people who disrespect you aren't looking for understanding. They're not interested in reason. They're not thinking about what's fair, or just they're acting from their own ego, their own insecurities, their own need to feel bigger by making someone else feel small. And when you react in that moment, you step into their world where chaos and emotion rule. You meet them on their level. And once you're there, you've already lost control. The strongest response is no response, not because you don't have anything to say, but because you understand that time will say it for you. Nothing humbles a person more than being proven wrong by reality. Nothing silent is a critic. More than watching the person they doubted, the person they tried to tear down, rise higher than they ever expected. When you hold your peace, when you don't waste energy trying to correct every insult, Life itself has a way of handling what you didn't respond to. People who disrespect you often expect an immediate reaction. They expect anger, defensiveness, an argument. They expect to see that they've gotten to you. But when you stay quiet, when you don't give them what they want, it unsettles them. It forces them to sit with their own words, their own actions, without the distraction of your response. And in that silence, something happens. They start to hear themselves. They start to realize they spoke too soon. They start to feel the weight of what they said without you having to carry. Any of it's not about letting things slide. It's about understanding that not everything needs your hands on it to be handled. Time exposes, time humbles, time reveals truth, and more often than not, the very people who disrespected you will find themselves in situations where they experience what they once did to you. That's not your burden to carry. You don't have to seek revenge. You don't have to wish for karma. You just have to keep moving forward. Keep your head up. Keep your focus sharp. Let your success, your growth, your peace be your only response. There's an old saying, what goes around comes around, and it's true. People can talk all they want. They can underestimate you. They can doubt you. They can throw stones. But what they can't do is stop what's meant for you. What they can't do is undo the favor on your life. What they can't do is change the fact that the very things they said you couldn't do, you're already on your way to doing so. Stay quiet, not because you're weak, not because you're afraid, but because you know that time will do all the talking for you, and when it does, the same people who doubted you will have no choice but to watch you prove them wrong without you ever having to say a word. Let's talk about the places in life that feel like they're standing still. Those moments when you look around and wonder, why hasn't anything changed? Or, did I miss something along the way? It's tempting to assume that stillness means something is wrong, that because you're not moving forward in ways you expected, you must have taken a wrong turn. But here's the truth. Stillness isn't always a setback. Sometimes it's strategy. God doesn't rush transformation. He builds it brick by brick. And often, the greatest growth happens beneath the surface where no one sees, but everything changes. Maybe you've been praying the same prayers for months, even years. Maybe you've been faithful with little but haven't seen the more. And still, you're showing up. Still, you're obeying. Still, you're pressing in. That's not weakness. That's worship. Because real faith isn't proven in the highlight reels. It's revealed in the unseen grind, the uncelebrated choices, the quiet sacrifices. This season, however frustrating or unfamiliar, is not void of purpose. It's a training ground, a sacred space where your soul learns to cling to truth when feelings fail, a forge for resilience, a birthplace for wisdom. It's where God teaches you to stop performing and start abiding, to lay down striving and lean into surrender, to trade self-sufficiency for divine dependence. And though it might feel like everyone else is passing you by, know this: your pace is not their pace. Your process is not their process. And what God is building in you now is perfectly designed for what He's preparing for you next. So take heart. You are not forgotten in this stillness. You are being refined. You are being positioned. You are being prepared for a weight of purpose that requires roots this deep. And when your season of release comes, it won't just be about what you've gained, it will be about who you've become. And when you finally look back at this season, this stretch of quiet, uncertain, often lonely days, you'll see what it really was. Sacred preparation. The parts you thought were detours were actually the direct route to depth. The prayers that felt delayed were actually maturing you. The closed doors weren't rejection, they were redirection. You weren't being ignored. You were being instructed. That's the beauty of God's process. He doesn't just prepare things for you, He prepares you for them. He forms your heart to handle the weight of what's coming. And that kind of formation cannot be rushed. So if your progress feels hidden, trust that your roots are growing. If your obedience feels overlooked, know that heaven is paying attention. If your path feels uncertain, remember that the one who authored it never makes a mistake. This is not wasted time. This is fertile ground. This is where conviction replaces convenience, where intimacy with God becomes more important than image, where purpose gets purified through perseverance. And when the time comes, you won't just rise, you'll carry something eternal. You'll carry compassion forged in the valley, wisdom carved from waiting, authority rooted in surrender, and a peace that doesn't depend on the circumstance, but on the one who never left your side. So keep showing up, keep saying yes, keep believing that your quiet faithfulness is doing more than you can see, because it is. And the day will come when the silence breaks, when the season shifts, when the story makes sense. Until then, be faithful, because you are being formed for something far greater than you imagine. And as you step into the days ahead, remember this: you're not walking alone. Every tear sown in secret has been seen. Every prayer whispered through trembling lips has been heard. And every moment you stayed faithful when quitting felt easier has been recorded in heaven. So don't hold back now. You're closer than you think. Let the lessons of this season lead the way. Let the strength you've built in silence carry you forward. Because you were never just waiting, you were preparing. And now you're ready.